Okay, we would like to welcome Rahul and Rohit. Both of them are from Tutor Every. Rahul and Rohit would be delivering an interactive talk about unlocking efficiency, harnessing generative AI for unmatched productivity. I think we're continuing with a lot of efficiency, productivity, quality, all with Gen AI from morning. So I think this is a good continuation of what we have been talking to. Welcome, Rahul and Rohit, and over to you.
Thank you, Dipti.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Deepti. I think people are still joining in. So, yeah,
Yeah, we can give a minute more.
okay.
Would any of you want to try if your sharing screen is working and everything?
Yes, yes, yes. Let me just try. If my screen share is working, you can tell me. Can you see my screen?
I know you have shared.
It's loading. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
now
Now
we can
it's-
see. Yeah,
Is it
Is it?
visible now
Yeah,
properly?
it's in. Yes.
Okay, over to you.
Okay, great. So, welcome everyone. Um, I'm Rahul Kavarkar, working as a product development manager at Theatre Every. I hope everyone is back after their 1 minute lunch break, or they are having their lunches with them. That's absolutely fine. I do understand that it's a all day workshop and it takes a good amount of attention span to take you through. But bear with me for the next 30 minutes, and I can assure you, you would want to keep your eyes and ears open. Okay. My colleague Rohit and I are going to talk about today's topic. It's called Unlocking Efficiency, Harnessing Gen AI for Unmatched Productivity. But before we move ahead, let's see why there is so much buzz about generative AI, right? You have read the articles, heard the discussions, and all day throughout today as well. Gen AI is the next big thing. But let's cut through the noise and see how it's already revolutionizing the productivity. Okay, great. Uh, Given the fact that there is so much buzz around it, let's have a look at some of the news and buzz numbers that are coming through. Uh, I believe that all of us or most of us got introduced to this big thing after ChatGPT was introduced in November 2022. I think November 30th, 2022 was the day when it was a legendary moment. It was like BC and AD in the technological landscape. Uh, as you can see on the screen, Gen AI's market has exploded by 227% since the launch of ChatGPT in 2022 November. Right now, it is expected by the end of this year, which is almost here, the market is going to exceed $66 billion. And that is a huge number, by the way. In 2022, it was $29 billion. So it is in all means an explosion. And we will see what kind of repercussions that has and what can we benefit it from. Businesses adopting Gen AI could achieve 15.7% cost saving at least. This is a report generated by Gartner. And again, in this particular topic, we will be talking about business perspective as well and from a development perspective as well. So yes, this number makes a lot of sense. It will decide how much investment will happen in Gen AI. From a programming perspective, programmers using Gen AI are 88% more productive. This is a claim made by GitHub. And you must be aware of the fact that there is a AI assistant called as GitHub Copilot, which is completely integrated with your development process. And that is the generative AI tool that many people are using. So that is a big claim, 88% more productive. Um, Now, who are the people who are maximally adopting it? 70% of them are actually Gen Z people. And jealous of, frankly, a lot jealous of these people because of the rate of adoption they have. These are the people born after 1995. And as you can see, 68% of the folks are who are unfamiliar with Gen AI are actually Gen X and boomers. So basically older people who are older than Gen Zs. I won't call myself old, but fine. Yeah. Also, from an industry investment perspective, 86% of IT leaders expect Gen AI be important to their company very soon. This is again a statistics provided by Salesforce. So we can see from all these news articles coming in and a lot of data thrown in, uh, there is a lot of buzz around Gen AI and the fact that it has been taken very seriously, not only by the development community but also from the business community. But fine, all of this is fine and well. Why it is even important from a productivity perspective? That productivity should be such a big concern for the businesses, especially IT business, where margins are usually higher. Okay, to understand that we have to look at the customer concerns. The customers who are taking the services from the development world are basically those who wants their features and products to be delivered to their market as soon as possible, and they pay us for that. Okay, and over there, if your development process is not very efficient, it has a direct repercussion on the satisfaction of the customers. So let's move there and have an understanding why that happens. Okay. Okay, let's have a look at signs of inefficient product development from a customer perspective. So let's say I am the customer and I have taken services or I am demanded a product from your company. And what I'm looking for, as soon as I have made the contract, I'm looking for the product to be ready as soon as possible. So slower time to market is something that I will definitely not like. If the product is delivered on time, I want it to be very good with quality. So lower quality standard is again a pain. And higher development costs. Again, if my cost is high, even if I have a very good product with no defects, still my profitability will be reduced, right? And overall, if my end consumers are not satisfied with the product, that is a total no game for even the client and also for the programmers, right? Great. So these are some of the statistics that have come through. If we are not putting in any effort to improve our productivity and efficiency, be it through Gen AI, be it anything, it would result to 23% more time spent on repetitive tasks, which is very considerable. With respect to project delays, again, since the risks and dependencies are identified so late in the life cycle, right? You have the requirements, then you develop the product, there is testing that goes through. And after that, when you realize there are risks and dependencies, it leads to complete overhaul of the entire process, right? And it leads to overall 20% on an average project delays. There are more, there are less, but this is an average. The effort gone in the rework, again, that is a problem because it has costs associated with that. And that is on the tunes of 20 to 40%. Okay, from a business perspective, we have understood these are the problems and these are the concerns that the businesses have. Let us have a look at what the development community feels like. What is their problem with respect to being productive or not? Okay, and please raise some hands if you can, um, if you relate a lot with the problems written on the screen. Let me take you through a few of them. Repetitive manual tasks. So this is one thing that all the bright folks out there would definitely resound me with it. Scripting, be it API documentation, be it code formatting or end-to-end testing, there are a lot of times you keep doing repetitive manual tasks just to make sure there is consistency and there is better quality, right? We live in a collaborative world, and that entails that you will be doing a lot of tasks just to make sure there is consistency. Lengthy code review cycles. Let's say you have a technology. So let's take example of Angular. You can you would want to have, let's say, 5 things that are consistent among the entire code base. And if you are not using Gen AI, let's say, you will be spending all that effort by yourself to making sure that you are having that consistency in place. But more importantly, your code review cycles will be longer because if you are the lead, you will be getting a lot of code reviews and you will keep on commenting on them or keep on waiting for the reviews, for the comments on the reviews to be taken care of. Unclear requirements. Um, Please help me with this. There are 4 to 5 stages that we have identified. Whenever requirement comes in at the start, by the time it comes to the developers, the shift in understanding goes in a lot, and that leads to a lot of to and fro calls. And sometimes the lack of transparency costs us bad quality product. We have inefficient test case writing. All the testers, please help me with this. Uh, Manual and unit test cases. When you write, there is a lot of creativity that goes, a lot of product understanding that goes in. And even after all of that, you will miss out on some edge cases, some potential negative cases, security vulnerabilities, non-functional requirements, so many things, right? Similarly, you have all these concerns that I've written coming in again and again. Late risk identification, which costed 20 to 40% in the previous slide, right? Delayed feedback loops. If you don't get the feedback soon enough, basically the accountability shifts on altogether on people who are not even responsible for that. And for our concern, it is the product also is not going on very well. Poor cross-functional collaboration. 4 to 5 different teams are sitting, working for the product, and they are not on the same page. It is a common pain problem. Since I work closely with security, application security team, I am very much aware of the fact that security vulnerabilities is a major problem that goes in. And if you have a check for that placed, usually it is at the end because all the integrations have gone in together and you are looking at the product as a whole and you find that there are security vulnerabilities. Given the fact that it comes very late, working on those security vulnerabilities takes time. And then on the same lines, ineffective documentation and quality assurance bottlenecks. Okay, fine. So we have seen pain points from a business perspective, pain points from a product development perspective, right? Let us now look at the real game. Productivity and efficiency gained from using GenAI. Okay, how can it help? And while using GenAI, I'm looking at prompt-based tools. Okay, and my friend Rohit will take you through those tools. But you get my point, right? From using the right kind of prompt, getting the right kind of content, and then using it again. So towards the right hands of the screen, you can see there are 4 areas that have been identified. And these are the areas we feel effectively give you a wholesome benefit from using GenAI. The first one is requirement analysis. As soon as a thought of a particular feature or a product comes in, it is mostly on a business level or a product insight level. Translating that step after step to technical requirements usually is not a very efficient process and not a transparent one as well. So if you can use GenAI to understand and rephrase the requirements in such a way that they are extremely clear to all the parties, that will save a lot of time. Okay, and the quality of the product will also improve. This is also beneficial for the developers who are people, maybe they don't have a lot of screen time with product managers and product owners. They can actually ask the right questions given the output from GenAI that will resolve their doubts right at the start. So this is a place which actually is something, a genesis of maximizing the benefit of GenAI. Okay, let's say all of that is taken care, or that stage has passed. While actual code generation, okay, over here we all know code generation has become faster by leaps and bounds after the use of GenAI. And I think I don't need to explain a lot over here. Most of you are well aware of that, right? The code generation part. The third area is code refactoring and review. This is a place where I believe if you are someone has who is not developing a brand new product, or the code is not brand new and it is already there and you are probably doing some rework or improving some functionality, all during or in improving the technology as well. Over here, code refactoring and code review in general takes a lot of time, and you probably need a lot of set of eyes to come up to a conclusion. This is a place where you gain a lot of benefit because you have a lot of consistency that comes in using GenAI. At the same time, a lot of manual work is taken care of. Of course, you need a set of eyes by someone senior who can review it uh, after a lot of manual work or a lot of redundant work is taken care. So that is a very good use case. And the last part is the testing part. So for testing, I will actually wait for Rohit to come in, but uh, insane amount of time saving that is come through that we have observed at the other way. And we have tried and used GenAI since a year, more than a year, and we have seen good amount of benefit coming in over here. Okay, so these are the thought process as to which areas are coming in. Let us look at the figures. On the left hand of the screen, you can see them now. 20 for manual test case generation, 20 to 30% increase in speed. For unit test case generation, again, insane, 60 to 70% faster processes, and that clearly shows you that, if you use it over here, you are saving a lot of time, better product, and the quality part also is taken care, because now you're writing a lot of unit test cases. Faster user story development by 33 to 50%. Again, users having clear, crisp, and exact user stories defined at the start is very important. If you don't have that, it will lead to a lot of work delays and rework. And overall, 20 to 30% cycle time reduction. We at Theory, after adopting GenAI, we have achieved more than 23% of productivity improvement in timelines, and we'll talk more about that. Okay, the figures mentioned over here are findings, and every individual and organization will have a unique figure based on their existing prevailed conditions. But having said that, it would be substantial. The figures may not exactly match, but it is substantial in nature, right? Okay, I will hand over to Rohit now. He will take you to the how part, and you will understand what happens and how do we do it. Over to you, Rohit.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know which. Can you see my presentation screen now?
Yes. Yes, Rohit.
Yeah. Okay. Just a second. Okay. So thank you, Rahul. And as you see, the numbers are very optimistic and fascinating as well, looking at all these numbers. So how, let's come to a question that how these are possible. So considering the GenAI, we have considered 5 critical phases from the product development lifecycle. Let's start with the requirement analysis. So during the requirement analysis, most of the time it's up with the discussions. A lot of discussions happens, and even though we lack with the clear understanding of the requirement, sometimes we mess with the identification of the dependencies, identification of the risk, and then that generates a lot of waste as well as delays for the development. So think about a situation where you are sitting together with the product owner, your team, and AI as your buddy. So we are sitting in a meeting, and then we are discussing all the requirements by asking questions such as what are the dependencies, what are the potential risks, what are potential bugs with this feature or with the requirement, and then getting those outputs and refining the requirements together. So that is how we can save the time as well as getting more and more clear the requirements. Then during the design phase, here we are considering the UX design part, where waiting time is more for the feedback, getting feedback for the designs. So with the help of GenAI, what we could do is we can ask GenAI to give us the feedback whenever our design is ready, so that we can have call to actions, performance, usability related feedbacks at early phases. And then the designers can actually look into the more intuitive and more creative designs and user-friendly designs to make. And it's not the only case with getting the feedback. The main point is with the help of GenAI, you can generate the CSS and HTML code as well, which is again a time taking, and with the help of GenAI, it is just a click away. So this is also how we can get the benefit. From the development point, where most of the time goes into code documentation, code writing, code reviews, and it's a lot of time. So with the help of GenAI, what we could do is we can use prompts for documenting the code, documenting all the flowcharts, writing down all the workflows, and for the code generation, we can use prompts to write the structure of the code, write the structure of your CRUD operations, write effective unit test cases, not only writing number of test cases. Writing effective unit test cases is also a critical part. So with the help of GenAI, we can provide and ask those kind of questions and inputs to the AI that write the test cases with respect to usability, with respect to maintainability, with respect to security. All those we can ask and get those test cases generated. And then it comes to the code review part, where most of the developers' time goes into reviewing multiple code review requests. So take an example of a Scrum team where one technical lead is there and a couple of senior software engineers there are there, and then only one person is getting those review requests for all those 4 team members. So it takes a lot of time for the person to review all those requests and the same set of checklists that he must be or she must be following. So instead of following that, what we can do is ask AI, like provide the context that, okay, these are our industry level standard guidelines as well as our internal company level coding guidelines are there. And based on that, we can review our own code before we are asking for lead to review our request. So that this is how we can have the shift left approach, as well as it is also saving the reviewer's time. Then the reviewer can focus more on the complex logic reviewing. So that is how we can improve our efficiency in the code review process. Then with the testing part, whenever we write, like whenever we get into the development part, we create the user stories and then we start with the writing manual test cases or functional test cases or API test cases for it. But then it takes a lot of time to write, around a couple of hours for one single user story. So when can we use this Gen AI and write these test cases? So with this Gen AI, we can write test cases right after our user stories are being generated. We are going to demonstrate that as a part of this session, that how quickly we can generate the test cases. And aligning with our processes, when can we use GenAI, in which meeting, which process it is aligned. So that is also we are going to talk about. But the main point is, it's not only we are always relying on the GenAI, the output the AI has generated. As Ashutosh also mentioned, and a couple of keynote speakers also mentioned, that we cannot fully automate and we cannot 100% rely on the AI. The more or the most critical part, I would say, is reviewing all the details, all the data that has been generated by the AI. So there it comes with your critical thinking, what understanding or what deep level understanding you have with domain, with product, with personas. All those details we have to review it together by altering, modifying our prompts. And by that, we can review the requirements, we can identify the risk, identify the bugs, and overall efficiency of the agile product development. So this is how we can see the improvement in our efficiency. This has been done in 𝐻𝐻. So we have integrated GitHub Copilot, we have 𝐻𝐻 ChatGPT, and we have Microsoft Copilot. So as we all know that GitHub Copilot is mainly for the coding, from the development side, whether it is the code or whether it is the automation code. 𝐻𝐻 ChatGPT and Microsoft Copilot, these are mainly we are using for the requirement understanding, requirement documentation, flowchart creations, and also the test cases generation, the functional test case generation. And these are the couple of benefits that we have seen. Now it is becoming more faster, more quicker, and accurate as well. So we are now able to identify risk early phases so that we can mitigate those risks and plan those mitigation. We can mitigate those actions at early phases. Also, whenever we are creating user stories, also there we are identifying dependencies. By mapping those dependencies at early phases, we can plan our sprints better. And during the development also, we have seen the code quality has been improved. Also, it's not only the code quality, but also it is now more readable and maintainable as well. So that any third party integration is going to happen, it should be maintainable enough to integrate all those tools and products in a better way. And security aspect, So starting from requirement, it's not only that we have to depend 100% on this ask and ask and which comes late in the development cycle. During the requirement phase itself, we can ask that what are the potential risks related to the security. And while writing the code, when we are like, once we have written as a developer, when we have written the code, while reviewing that code, we can ask AI that, okay, review this code based on the security aspect, whether it is GDPR, whether it is OWASP 10 or other security aspects, so that we can identify those vulnerabilities early phases, put efforts to fix them, and we have a lesser chances of getting those identified in a later phases with the actual tools scannings. So these are the couple of benefits that we have seen. And what impact that we have seen? We have improved our test coverage, we have fewer defects in a later phases, and efficiency in compliance. And because of the proactive risk mitigation, we are now able to map those dependencies and risk mitigation plan in place so that our work can be planned better, and the collaboration between the team, between the product owner, between the business is now more effective. And it has also helped us in minimizing the cost of risk resolution. So these are the couple of benefits that we have seen, and these are not the buzzwords, okay? Because we in 𝐻𝐫𝐴 are basically having this GenAI in place is not as in harder way, it is in a smarter way that we are leveraging GenAI. So let's look at the example. So in this example, this is the sample example that we have considered. This is the feature from a banking application. Enable users to pay utility bills directly through the banking application for services such as electricity, water, gas, and others. So this is the feature. And think that, okay, we are now with the product owner and the entire team is sitting in the meeting room and we are discussing this feature. So this is the prompt that is there. And let me play the video. Yeah. So now if you see, this is the 𝐻𝐫𝐴 ChatGPT tool that we have. And here we have added that feature which is there shared. And now what we are going to do is we will add those feature details as well as the existing feature, existing functionality of that product. That also we can add it as a context setting for the requirements. And once we hit this prompt, what output we will get? So this prompt tells us that document the requirement with additional details as well as the existing features and create the user stories. And now when we say the user stories, we many times miss the negative workflows and many times the security aspects. So with the help of prompt, we can identify those early. So if you see functional requirements, what are the non-functional requirements with related to the feature that we have given, what are the technical requirements are there, what are the data requirements are there, and then these are the user stories. So one important point here is the user stories are also getting generated in a standard format, because we do have a training that, okay, we have to write a user story in this way, but then many times when we are rushing into the development, the user story is not being followed the standard structure. So with the help of tool, we can use this, we can create the user stories. And now the important point, let me go back. Now you must be thinking, okay, now the user stories are created and we will plan these stories in a sprint and then start the write the functional test cases of it. But then again, it is a time-taking task. So during the same meeting, what we will do is once the requirements are discussed, clear, user stories are there, the only task remaining is copy this entire text and put it in your either your Jira ticket or your ADO work item. That's the only manual effort that is there until and unless Microsoft or Jira comes with a real integration of automating everything. But that is the manual effort that we have to put in. And once all the requirements are clear, we have another prompt that will create the test cases out of the user stories which we have written. And here we are not only considering the functional test cases. Here we are considering the negative test cases. We are considering the exploratory test cases. We are considering the edge cases. So all these cases are being covered. And the most important point I would like to highlight here is when we all together are sitting in a room, like PO, a development team, and our AI buddy. So everybody can work together, review all the data that has been generated so that the gap of understanding of the functionality that becomes minimized. Why? How that is possible? Because we all are reviewing all the data generated by the AI. So that many times we see that I do as a developer, we don't know how the tester is testing the functionality, or we miss this test case, or we miss this test scenario. But reviewing it together, now as a developer, I know, okay, this is how the functionality is going to be tested. These are the missing areas that I need to probably integrate into my unit test cases or during the development. So that is how we can do the shift left as well. So this is how we can improve our efficiency of the meetings, of the processes, as well as the areas that we are targeting. So I would say the overall impact is huge in terms of as an individual, as a developer, as a tester, or even as a product owner, that now we can get more and more benefit out of uh, by using this GenAI. So yes, that is it from my side, and this is just an example, but there are many cases that we have identified as a pain areas from each phase, and created a framework where we can utilize the GenAI in such a way that every phase is more efficiently work together with PO, with team, and generate as much as quality output. And with that said, thank you. Thank you for your time, and over to you, Rahul.
Hey, I just want to prompt the speakers here because you had an extensive list what Rohit was showing. We have extra 10 minutes if you really want to show it in detail to our viewers.
What we can do is, if anybody is interested, we can take you more slowly through the demo if needed, if you want.
Rahul, you are
Yeah,
on
so
mute.
you can, yeah, hi Rahul, this is Abhay, your host and host. So you can continue with the demo. You can take
Okay,
some
maybe
extra time,
we
10
can
15 minutes.
use the same slide. This is the last slide,
Yes.
so you can continue from here.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. But in any case, if there is someone who wants to have a closer look at the demo,
No,
we
you
can
are
take you
not
slowly.
audible, Rahul.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. If there is someone who wants to have a closer look at the demos, right? We can take you through it a bit slower and a bit more in detail if required. If there's anyone, we can do that. Okay. Okay. But to conclude, to have a logical close, we saw that, what kind of business implications that GenAI has across the industry. We saw at what kind of problems arise if we are not productive and efficient with respect to the product development process, with respect to delivering the product and promises that we have given to our clients and customers. We saw what are the problems that the developers and the development ecosystem in general face through, and how can GenAI help with speeding up those processes, reducing the redundant items that are there, and giving us better quality. Okay. Post that, we also had a look at the number of tools that are used uh, in order to make this possible, the how part. We went into a few areas in detail, and then we saw a demonstration of a prompt. We have developed a lot of prompts for various use cases, and we showed you a business agnostic prompt in order to give you a feel as to how we do it. And we would love to actually have more questions and more talks about it. Uh, that's it. That's it. That was the logical flow to it. We have implemented these, and we have adoption strategy that went in to implement everything in the past year. Maybe we can talk offline more on that if needed, because that is a pain point with respect to a leadership perspective as well. But hey, I think we got a good view, and thank you so much for patiently listening to us. I like with respect to adoption of AI and the future that lies ahead. Uh, I would say like the Sanskrit shlok which is written over here, Anugachatu Prabha, which means go with the flow. Uh, it is a time of excitement and a bit of fear as well. But I would say go with the flow, enjoy the excitement, upskill yourself, and yeah, I think we are professionals who first learned how to walk, then we learned how to ride a cycle, then a car, and now probably we need to fly. So yeah, let's enjoy that process. Thank you. Thanks everyone.